What's up, Duderinos? Yeah, it's Brando here. Episode 159. It's been a minute, right? The last 3 months. This podcast has produced 4 episodes. And why is that? It's been pretty quiet over here in our neck of the woods. Well, it's been quite a year, to say the least. And so, first off, I want to start off by thanking everybody for downloading the show, checking out this podcast. Seeing the growth of the show over the last year has been amazing. It's not something that I ever expected, and of course, the growth comes at a really weird time where everything is kind of slowed down for us. And for everybody who doesn't know that story, if you guys tuned in for the FF7 remake discussion or the Last of Us discussion or anything like that, I kind of want to start the show off just by recapping kind of what's been going on in my life. And so around September of last year, Mike, the longtime co-host of this show, kind of came to me and said he wanted to kind of step away from being a permanent host. He was going to take a break, and that he would, he'd still be around, but be less of a part of the show. And I said, that's fine. That's absolutely perfect. I have nothing but support for you. You have done this show with me, I mean, for so long, and it makes total sense. We've done it for a long time, and go off, man. And because I was getting ready to take a little bit of a break myself with the birth of my second child in October. Owen was born in October 12th. And starting at that point, the show kind of slowed down every other week or something like that. I had some stuff in the bag, so you guys didn't really know that I took a break. But then I came back in November, did a show. I think I did maybe 2 in December. And I want to thank everybody else who kind of helped out, Blaine and Tyler. Of course, Tyler is my big bud here on the show. He's always my big cuddly teddy bear here on the Game Addicts podcast. And also, like we marched forward, to episode 150. And I got a hold of pretty much everybody who's ever been on the show, ever had a big part in the show. And we had a big extravaganza. And then right after that, it was like, or while we were making 150, essentially, the pandemic hit. And normally you would think that would be like, well, Brando's home all the time. He could do more podcasts. Well, I actually kind of didn't want to do a lot of podcasts. I spent a lot of time with my family. And the next podcast was going to be like the FF7's discussion. That was going to be coming out in April. And that was going to be a big one. And I'm like, okay, so like the next episode that I do is going to be a big one. And we did. And it was like one of the most longest podcasts we've ever had here on the show. 3 hours or something. And there's stuff we didn't even cover. There's stuff that we didn't even get to that we were like, man, we're going long. I mean, we knew we would. But literally right after that episode in May, I lost my dad. May 4th. And it was a few weeks after that, I got a hold of, I think it was Tyler, and I said, I just need to do something to get my mind off of it. And we did an episode of the show, and it was great. We did a few episodes of the show, and then we did the Last of Us discussion, and I was focusing on my dad's funeral. My dad's funeral got delayed because of the pandemic, and it was going to be in July, and so I was going to do the episode to take a little break, deal with that, and come back strong. Well, literally a week after my dad's funeral, my grandma passed, and so there's been a lot of stuff going on in my family. Births, deaths, and of course, I mean, everything is hard in the world right now for a lot of different people, especially all the people who have lost loved ones. But that's where we're at. There's been a lot of news that's been coming out about the new consoles, new games, and all that kind of stuff. And I really, it's difficult because I have people I can lean on, bring on the show, and guest with me. But it's a part of getting the want to, getting hyped up every day. When you go to work and you work all day and you've been beat down mentally already from everything going on in your life, and then you've been beat down physically, to be able to sit down here and excitedly talk to you about video games is kind of difficult when I've expended all I had. So I want to thank you guys for all your patience and knowing that when the show does come back on a more regular basis, it's going to hit. You know, we're gonna hit a groove, and we're gonna get going. I got some great ideas that I want to do, and this is hopefully the start of that. I'm gonna aim for maybe an every other week release schedule for the time being, and maybe we'll ramp that up. Of course, we'll be here to talk about all the great new stuff coming out, as well as the new consoles. But with that being said, it's time to get it kind of kicked into the show. I have joining me here today, the one, the only Podfather, Nate Phillips.
Brando, how's it going, bro?
What's up, Duderinos, and welcome back to the Game Addicts podcast, a show where we talk about the modern and retro video games we play and collect. I am this podcast player, Brando, and joining me here today as this podcast player, too, is the Podfather, Nate, which I didn't update the name thing. We sat here and talked all that time. And live on the show, your name is Mike right now. So, hi, Mike. How are you doing?
That's strange. I'm a strange Mike. My name's Strange Mike.
Strange Mike. How have things been on your end, bud?
That's like throwing a hand grenade at a wall and hoping it doesn't explode, because I feel like, honestly, and listening to you introduce in the kind of the early part of your show here, you're talking about all the things you've been through. And while I'm going to just sound like Star-Lord here, like I feel your pain. My story is not your story. We've like kind of had different paths. I feel like this has been very challenging, not just for like, it's one thing to be like, oh, I lost a parent or a loved one or a sibling or, whatever it is. But then there's a whole other element when you have a pandemic on top of that and everything's stressful. And like just the day to day of existing is like eggshells. Like you're just like, okay, well, hopefully somebody doesn't piss someone else off in the house that sets the whole fucking place ablaze, because it can happen. It can happen. I think we talked about this on one of the supercasts about how, at least in the early part of the pandemic, I felt like a lot of times I was a powder keg ready to explode, because I was nervous, I was anxious, I was stressed out. I was trying not to show any of that to the family because I want to be strong for them, and then stupid little shit would happen and I would like lose my temper and I couldn't really figure it out. And then it's like, I'm like having PTSD meltdowns about what we're currently going through, and I don't even know how to like really emote that to people, It was really hard in May when I had to go back to work, and I lost my dad, and literally because of everything going on, everything was delayed and nothing was taken care of. Nothing was finalized. By the time I went back to work, so I was still taking care of arrangements and all that stuff. And then, are you kidding me? Live on the show, we lost Nate. Oh my goodness. Wow, Nate. There he is. Welcome back, Nate. You ever push a wrong button? I sure just the fuck did. Oh, dude. Okay, I'm so sorry that must have been some weird comedic levity in the middle of this very serious story. I just tipped out.
Later, bye.
I was trying to full screen so I could like just see us, because I had like this white background and it was kind of bothering my eyes, and I went to click the expand button and my hand just slipped like a fraction of an inch to the close, and I was just like, no. I gotta just join, and I like really quickly went to Facebook and got the link and whatever, but like in that brief second I was panicked, like, oh.
It's cool. Nothing on this podcast so far is going exactly as I had planned. That your name was wrong. the download the podcast font is wrong because it's the JIC one, and then I had to like minimize it a little bit because it was blocking the window. It's fine, everything's fine here.
Things are fine. Things are totally fine.
No, when I went back to work, nothing was taken care of, and I had to do like a delaying of my bereavement because I wanted to be able to take time after the funeral. And it was this whole rigmarole of why and how and why can't you do it sooner, and it literally gave me a nervous breakdown. That doesn't happen to me often. I like to think that I'm very well in control of myself and my emotions. Even when I'm upset, I don't go off the rails. I went completely full off rail. So much that I called into work the next day because when I woke up the next day, I was still shaking. And I probably could have been okay, but I just didn't go. I said, nope, stay in the hell home. It's been a hard year, but the past few months has been especially hard. And I hope that everybody at home, all the people who listen to the show and people who have subscribed to the show, if you do, thank you. I hope they understand that, and that it's difficult sometimes to sit down and just get away. I've had some other things on my plate too. I haven't been completely gone from the podcast circuit. I rejoined JIC as a full-time co-host. I've been on there for 10 straight now.
Hey.
Yep, helping out with that and bringing the show a new flair, a new feel, hopefully. With 300, there was there was a chance to, if you're gonna invite me back on, there's a chance to try and, I don't know, I'm not trying to say change, but just like better the show,
Absolutely, and I think that you have done that.
When you've been around, as a show, and you've had, I was on the show for like 100 and almost 200 episodes or whatever before the break or whatever. And then, coming back or whatever, like shows evolve. This show has evolved since its initial inception, and it will continue to do so as it goes on. JSC this, the same way. And we've been doing OG still a little bit, trying to do some other projects as well, that are going to come wink, that are going to come to fruition, and so I'm still out there in the zeitgeist. Please go out there and check out the Journey to Comics Network and all the same places you get this show. Your favorite podcast network or your favorite platform app, Facebook, YouTube's video stuff is there too. But going forward, Nate.
Sure.
Has there been anything in the news that you've heard or that's been going on that's really caught your eye? Because there's a couple of big items that haven't been discussed on this show. We haven't talked about it, that have really got my gears turning, because we have 2 new consoles coming out in November.
Oh yeah. Well, hopefully.
Well,
hopefully.
PlayStation just announced yesterday it is November.
They're not faltering.
Okay, no. They didn't say November. They said it is coming out this year. We're not delaying it. Xbox has said November. We don't know when. We don't know price points. And apparently there was supposed to be an Xbox event like this week or next. And Xbox pushed it back to end of September. And the rumors on the street are that they were going to be talking about release day and price, as well as introducing the Series S, which is going to be like the little rung down from the X, or like the cheaper model or whatever. But Nate, Halo got delayed.
Yeah, Halo Infinite delayed, and possibly because of the TV show. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's the rumor. They are saying no. They're saying that it didn't have anything to do with that.
Okay.
But still, I understand delaying a game to want to make the game the best game that it can be.
Sure.
I mean, when the trailer came out and I saw the stuff, or like the footage from it, I was a little underwhelmed with the graphics, even though I'm not a graphics guy. I kind of felt like, man, this is almost like we're going back to Halo 2,
Dude, thank you for saying it. Yes, very much gave me the Halo 2 vibe. I also heard a rumor that that they were talking about making this like a 6-part game.
Oh
Like
my
this
gosh.
one game was going to get broken up instead of it just being one release because of, I don't know whether it's the expansiveness, how big the worlds are and all that, or just they're trying to really tell a super immersive story. Maybe that's what they're still debating and having drama about is do they release it in 2 parts? Do we get Halo Infinite 1 and 2, or who knows?
Well, what it does kind of hurt, in my opinion, is the viability of picking up an Xbox day one. Because this game is supposed to be like the big tag along game with the console. Now, they've since said, buy Xbox One, or I'm sorry, did I say Xbox One? I meant Series X. It's same,
We understand. They don't even know what to call it because they've not put that much thought into it.
Man, anyway, Xbox Series X now featuring thousands of your favorite games from all 3 generations. Or 4 generations. But what first part? Is there going to be no first party? Because they announced some stuff. We got new Forza coming out. It looked really good. Like, it's graphics wise. I'm not a Forza guy. I played Forza Horizon 4, and it was awesome. I loved it. But the regular Forza is too simmy for me. It's I try to turn, and I'm just like,
why are you drifting into the wall? What is happening?
But Fable, they announced a new Fable, and actually developers who made Horizon Zero Dawn, not Horizon Zero Dawn, God damn.
For Forza
Horizon 4.
I vibe that. I could have
Horizons.
Yeah.
That, of course, they've only ever made Forza Horizon. They're making the new Fable, which is interesting. I'm actually very excited to see that because it gives them something else to do. But that's rumored to be a long ways away. Definitely 2022 probably.
Oh,
dude, maybe even longer than that.
Depending. Talking about headlines and things that are, I don't know when this is going to drop. So this again, very much like the last time we tried to cover this on one of the shows. The Avengers beta is out right now.
Yes.
And I've been playing it.
You are playing it.
Oh yeah.
What do you think?
Okay, so this game has been like big hype in this house all year because of Ali beating Spider-Man.
Sure.
And he's like, oh my God, there's going to be an Avengers game. Like, we have to get that, Nate. And I was like, oh yeah, we'll probably get it. Don't worry. And I was no selling him on the fact there was even going to be a beta until today. He was in the bathroom and I was like, hey, by the way, I'm downloading the Avengers beta. And he was just like, what? And I was like, yeah, we're going to play it. So we started it. I'd obviously watched gameplay footage and watched the whole beta being played. So I know what to do. I know what the point and what story they're trying to start telling. But to just actually control those characters, to do some of those things, to intuitively, example. So all the gameplay I saw, no one tried to throw Mjolnir until the game told you this is how you throw Mjolnir. And literally, as soon as I was Thor, the first thing I did was like, how would you throw it? Is it like shooting a gun? And of course it is. And it was an awesome mechanic. And then they tell you how to really use it, a few minutes later. But it felt so intuitive to just step into these characters, the roles that you've seen on the big screen. You've seen them in comics, seen them in the animated stuff and in other video game mediums. And to really just feel like when you're controlling the Hulk, you feel like you're controlling the Hulk, like it's a Hulk game. And when you're controlling Iron Man, although I didn't really like the Iron Man flying mechanic, I'm just going to keep it real with you. I was not a huge fan of the targeting system when you're flying as Iron Man, or the lack thereof, I guess is maybe the better way to say that. It's a blast. It's massive too. It's a fucking 30 gig beta.
Wow.
So
yeah, I mean,
it's a beefy boy.
I mean, games are getting so big now. In fact, they just finally revealed the name of the new Call of Duty, right? Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. And somebody said that the name is so big that the title screen is going to take up half your space on your hard drive. So, rumor here, this was from yesterday. The new PlayStation 5 rumor says that we don't know all the entire launch lineup for the PS5, but we do know that Spider-Man Miles Morales will release alongside the new console. And of course, it's not going to be the full game. It's going to be like a 10-hour experience, which is fine. And as long as you tell me up front that's what it's going to be, I'm not going to be too upset about it being short. but apparently that won't be the only major launch exclusive. Um, with Halo Infinite being delayed to 2021, Miles Morales looks poised to capitalize by being the biggest exclusive game that's on either console. However, it may have some competition from a PS5 exclusive from PlayStation Studios. More specifically, Demon Souls might be coming out on day one.
Is that a remake?
Yeah, they're doing a remake of Demon Souls, which that was a PS3 exclusive, and of course they didn't lock down an exclusivity for that, and then having trouble remembering the name of the studio off the top of my head. I'm a little rusty, guys. It's been a few weeks and months since I've actually covered news, but the guys that do Demon Souls, Dark Souls, they went ahead and did Dark Souls and made it not exclusive, and that was kind of a loss for PlayStation. Are you hearing something confusing in the background?
Out the window, I was hearing a noise, and I was not sure what noise I was hearing because there should not be noises that I'm hearing. I'm saying it, I don't know, but anyways, okay. So Miles Morales, day one, awesome.
Yeah.
Immediate, like, no questions asked, gonna get people to buy that console and in hordes. I'm hopeful that with the way this year has shaped up, with the way that PlayStation has seen other consoles fail to stay on shelves, that they are going to actually have the supply to meet the demand of this, not only just the game console, but the actual game itself too. Because what happens if we only got 2 games, and you know, I don't want to play Demon Souls personally. It's not my style of game.
Yeah, me either.
Well, Spidey sold out. What am I going to do? Just sit here and look at my PS5 and say, it's a shiny looking console. I'm really glad to have this shiny looking console that does nothing for me right now except for streaming 4K. Like, I digress. But here's my thought on Miles Morales a little bit further before we continue on. My hope is that the reason we're getting Miles here is because in the not too distant future, maybe summer of 21, winter of 21, or spring of 22, that the end of this Miles Morales experience is going to slam us right into a teaser for Spider-Man 2.
Absolutely. I mean, there's no way that you don't end the Miles Morales story, because like, why else would you be doing this story if it wasn't literally a lead-in? Because
exactly,
he's going to be a playable character in the next Spider-Man game. Meanwhile, what this little add-on or a 10-hour story, it's almost like Uncharted Lost Legacy, if you ever played that.
Haven't yet, but I plan to.
It's good. It's really good. But it's like a little 10-hour story that, you know, coincides with, like, Uncharted 4. But it's bigger than just a DLC. So it's like a little bit smaller than a full game, but bigger than a DLC. So you charge a little bit less for it. But with Spider-Man, it gives you an opportunity to get comfortable with how Miles controls, gives him like a little bit of like an origin thing for him getting started. So by the time,
it's great for representation. Can I just say?
Yes, absolutely,
huge win.
But by the time you're getting to the next Spider-Man story, wherever you want that story to take place, that means it doesn't have to be Miles' first time out and he's brand new and like a complete rookie. He can be like, oh, he's been doing this for a little while. He's still new, but he kind of had his own little adventure before this to kind of get, you know, associated. So I like that a lot. And of course, you end that with a lead in, and then getting hit in the face. Now, what I'm hoping is that they release an update for the first Spider-Man alongside with this. So when you go to play the PS4 copy on your PS5, it really benefits from the power of the 5, and there's some updates maybe, and it looks even better. Because I don't know, Nate. I don't think you have a 4K TV, do you?
Not yet, but I'm eyeing one, my brother.
Look around. I'll help you look at some stuff on Black Friday, because there's definitely stuff to avoid for Black Friday deals. But if you know what you want and what you're looking for, like, don't go for the doorbusters. Those aren't good TVs. What you're looking for are like the sales that are going on, that are good deals, but it's like what you're getting the most bang for your buck. That
Well,
game.
with 8K hitting the market too,
Sure. Yeah, it's going to be going
4K
down.
prices are going to be plummeting.
That game, Spider-Man. Oh my God. That HDR blew me away when I played it.
Dang. Do you need to have okay, so like I have a 4K TV. Obviously I don't have 4K PS4 Pro.
Yeah.
Is that going to make a great effect?
You do need a PS4 Pro. Or
okay, so
at this point,
5.
Yeah, no. Why would you go out and buy a PS4 Pro when you save a couple $100 more? Just get a 5.
Oh yeah.
Because what is a 5 going to play? All PS4 games.
Everything. Yep.
All PS4 games. So like you're set. You know, there's no if you would have told me like a year or two ago, what do I need? Will my current one work? No, you need to upgrade to a 4 or a Pro, because the Pro will play games in 4K. It does literally nothing else in 4K. It doesn't do 4K movies. It does some streaming. That's one reason why I jumped on the deal for the Xbox One X when I did, so I could utilize my TV for the full capability. And with the One X, it's seemingly it's like a stopgap between my original Xbox One, which is right over here, the same one that you have, right? And the Series X, where it's like it's powerful, does complete 4K gaming, and I won't need to buy a new Xbox for a couple years at least. Breath of the Wild 2 leak may hint at release date. Are you ready for this one?
Saw that headline, did not click it because I knew we'd be probably talking about it, so I wanted to be surprised.
Well, courtesy of a European retailer, WT&T, may be coming in 2021. I would assume holiday season.
Makes sense. It's a home run for them to put it in the holiday time and to sell the most amount of copies. I feel like, isn't there a Switch game that just dropped? People are mad talking about, Paper Mario. The new Paper Mario is out, Origami King and whatnot.
So I remember talking to your girl Sarah about that, and she was not too keen and happy about what she saw. Did she end up getting it?
Well, no, but from the advice of several other people who are in her gaming circle that she really trusts, it's the plan. Yeah. Spoiler alert: when the album's done soon. Did I say that aloud on air? Oops.
Yeah.
Did I leak my own shit? Oops. Ryan Reynolds I understand where he's coming from now when you accidentally do that kind of thing. But no, as soon as that's done, the plan is that she's going to pick that up so she has something to just zen into and have fun with now that the load is off for a time. So that's going to be really sweet, man. I feel like this winter is going to be a really the house is going to just become very much a game hub, especially with the current climate and what we're in and what seems to be coming. I saw this is probably not necessarily Game Addicts news, but I do believe it's kind of a worthy enough headline. AMC theaters across the country are opening up in limited capacities. 15-cent movie tickets for the first however many days, and they only go to $5 after that, have already all sold out. So not like, a couple people are kind of buying them here and there and it's going to be sparse. It's already people are trying to rush back to normal, even though they're going to still be having social distancing guidelines and mask rules and space between where people are sitting and all that stuff. I feel people are just too eager to get back to normal, and it's just going to make things last even longer until we actually take it seriously for like a month.
I am not going to the theater anytime soon.
Same.
Our local theater down here announced that they're showing Inception for the 10-year anniversary, and I was like, ooh, but no. In fact, I want to say it was in the network chill chat yesterday. I believe it was you that shared the pie chart for the people who want to see Black Widow.
Yes.
And I hope you enjoyed what I put in there, because that's exactly what I thought when I saw it. Which was along the lines of, like, there were so many percentage of people, 55% of people, they don't care about seeing Black Widow movie in a theater. They want to watch it at home instead. Just give it to me now. 32% prefer seeing Black Widow in a theater, but they're okay with watching it at home. 13% only want to see it in theaters. It's the only way that they want to see it. And
Brando created a new percent.
Well, there should have been, because I saw this, And I said, I like how the graph doesn't have I would see the movie under normal circumstances in a theater, but I won't go to a theater now. And I'm not going to pay the $30 through Disney Plus. So I guess I'll just wait for Redbox or something. Because if I can be completely honest with you, I don't think there's any movie, no movie right now, not a single one, that could convince me to go to the theater right now.
True.
And please feel free to feel different. People can do whatever they want. I'm doing what I want. I'm not going to the theater until things are died down. I don't care about social distancing. I don't care about masks. I'm doing what I want to do, and I only go to the movie theater like a couple times a year anyway. Like, it's fine. I can stay away. But then I heavily disagree with Disney Plus doing what they're doing. Now, on one hand, you're getting the movie out to people, and they can pay $30. I don't think any digital movie should cost $30 ever.
Okay.
I feel like that's way too much. I feel like if you say $20, you own it. Put it on Vudu. Don't put it on Disney Plus. Because what does that mean for the Disney Plus users that don't buy that, and then eventually they make it free? Or do they never make it free? It's confusing.
It's going to be an interesting territory, but you got to look. Okay, I mean, think about the science of it, Brando. And we've kind of dished the numbers a lot. They stand to make a lot of money doing that with Black Widow. Mulan's like the test run, and for Disney, they caught my attention saying they were thinking about doing this strictly to Disney Plus services with some of these movies that are going to be in theaters, because they're saying you buy it for $30 once, but you have it forever.
Sure.
You own the movie.
Yeah.
So that's like buying a Blu-ray essentially. Okay. Now I'm fine with it. Okay. That's okay a little bit. But then I start thinking, okay, so let's back up just a little bit. Not Mulan, but Black Widow, because you even said it yourself. Under normal circumstances, we're going to the theater to see this. We might even go together. We might have even gone together under normal circumstances, right? And then what would have happened? It would have been $12.50 a ticket.
Mm-hmm.
$12.50 twice, $12.53 times 4 times for my party. Okay, so that's like $50. Okay, now, well, Ollie wants popcorn. That's $10 probably, because you're going to get the combo with the drink, so we can share the drink. And then Sarah doesn't really want the popcorn today because it hurts her teeth. She prefer to have the candy, so she gets $4 candy. Really, it's kind of a money saver. Like, as much as I hate it that they're doing it this way and that the price point is $30, I think that's a little bombastic, and maybe they adjust after they see the sales of Mulan.
Mm-hmm.
Because I thought $20 or $25 was probably the most I was going to be cool with. 30 really pushes it. Like, that's like, you really gotta want to see that movie. Like, if it was the next Spider-Man, probably gonna want to do that. If it's Black Widow, I'm going to do it, but I'm not going to be so happy.
Okay, so here's the thing about the $30 price point for me. When you can buy any other digital movie on Vudu for $20 in UHD.
Yeah.
That's UHD is streamable 4K. That's what that is.
Boom.
$30 is what I spend for a physical copy on a 4K Blu-ray that gives me the regular Blu-ray and the digital copy.
Sure.
So I feel like I'm getting ripped off with a digital copy through Disney Plus that I need to retain a membership to even have access to that movie. I don't need a membership.
I didn't think about that. Oh.
I don't need a membership for Vudu.
I really didn't think about that, Brando.
Yeah, so you're continuously...
What happens if you're like, I'm over having my Disney Plus, it's not worth it, and then you get rid of it, and then you lose your $30 investment into Milan?
Or Black Widow or whatever, it just... Look, I would much rather, and this is going to sound weird, I would much rather pay $20 for a rental, like I did with Trolls, for a one-time thing, and not own it, than pay $30 on Disney Plus and own it, and then continue paying a subscription for it. It's because what am I going to do with Black Widow, Nate?
You're going to watch it once?
Well, I'm going to watch it, yes.
Uh-huh.
But what am I ultimately going to want to do? I'm going to want to buy the physical copy for my collection. I have the entire MCU in a collection. And if I pay $30 I'm going to have to pay $30 again. Now, granted, as you said, going to the movie theater, ticket prices, concessions, yada, yada. I view that as paying for the experience as well.
Totally fine. Totally fine.
So it's a little bit more expensive. And as I said, I only go a couple times a year at most. It's difficult, even more difficult now. But, like, I went and saw Endgame by myself because we couldn't guarantee someone to watch our kid. And then
you were like, I am not missing this and getting spoiled.
No, I'm not. Yeah, no, that's exactly what it was. I was like, I pre-ordered my ticket because I'm not getting spoiled in this crap. You know, I already got spoiled on Game of Thrones. I already got spoiled on Star Wars, which was later in the year, but still. Endgame was the one thing, and I got spoiled on Last of Us Part 2, Dad. You know, damn it.
We'll be talking about that soon, too, I'm sure.
But FF7, Endgame are the only two things that didn't get spoiled for me. And I'm very happy. I'm on both fronts. Did I go see Endgame more times in theater? Yes. There's the difference, though. A caveat into that conversation. I feel like that game is worth seeing more than once in theater.
Well, considering you have invested nearly 10 years in that story,
sure,
seeing the culmination is worth it. Correct.
Yeah.
I guess that here we are on kind of like a game addict's journey into comics, like fusion dance tangent.
Well, we're talking about entertainment in general because we're going to circle back around with everything going on and during the pandemic, and we're going to talk about picking up the new consoles and the difference in how that's going to be for launching a new hardware like in the year. But go ahead.
Well, it's just, to me, it's very interesting, you know, one, that we're in this predicament, obviously, but for me, the big crux of Black Widow and the reason why I think they feel that they can confidently make that decision if they ultimately decide, because as of right now, this is just conjecture. We saw them do it with Mulan. That is absolutely happening. And it seems that's going to be like a test drive. Like, this is what we could be doing. The reason there's so much allure around Black Widow is the what's next. You know, that's more than anything in the story itself. I want to see what threads they start to weave for what's coming, more than I want to see how they wrap the threads we've already seen wrapped. And that to me is kind of worth more to see it than, you know, like you said, Endgame was kind of worth that experience. This is the only reason I would say I think Black Widow is, but not to say Scarlett Johansson's bad or any of those things. I just think that people and their interest in that movie is going to come more from what's next, what are they tying into the future, where do we go from here, and that's what the you know, allure. And
I'm overall less interested in seeing the movie than I was the last few movies of the MCU.
Sure.
Maybe less than Captain Marvel. And I have a feeling I might like this movie more than Captain Marvel because I like the character Black Widow more than I like Captain Marvel. Well, because I'm already invested in the Widow character and knowing that it's set before, in between the Civil War Endgame thing or the Infinity War stuff. You know, okay, fine. But when it comes down to everything that's going on and how you said, we said how everything has changed, the movie theater's kind of reopening back up. We're going to be launching new consoles this year. I mean, do you really think if I'm not willing to go to a theater to sit there and watch a movie with social distancing, do you really think that I'm going to go at midnight to a place to pick up a brand new console?
In November?
In November. That's a big no for my Vember. That's And so, like, is it weird to me? Maybe it's just me. Because I want new shit, too. I want new hardware. I mean, I already know I'm getting a PS5 right away. I'm trying to get it day one or day 3, whenever it shows up in the mail. But
that's what I was gonna say. All you got to do is Amazon it. You can avoid the line.
Amazon. Well, then I've had bad luck with Amazon this year. I haven't had fun. You know, Mr. Brando doesn't want to pay $30 to watch a movie on fucking Disney Plus. But damn it, if his damn Amazon package with his game isn't getting here by launch day, you better bet his ass he's looking at his finances to see if he can buy a digital copy so I don't have to miss out. I did it with FF7, and I did it with Last of Us Part 2. That's why you're playing Last of Us Part 2, is because I have 2 copies and can let somebody borrow it.
I love it.
But damn it. Anyway, I'm almost wishing we would delay the launch of the new consoles until March.
Give it a springtime release. Yeah.
Well, I mean, okay. Halo's delayed until 2021. They want to release it by the end of the fiscal year. Pandemic has been hard on game developers. Everybody having to work from home. Maybe more games will be ready for both systems by then. Granted, if you buy it in the fall, you're already in the ecosystem and waiting for the new games. I get that. And you get it for the holiday rush. But is there such a thing as maybe we shouldn't have a holiday rush this year? Maybe we should just have a holiday chill the frick out.
That's actually a great question that we nowhere on no show have dissected or discussed. How does Black Friday and coronavirus look?
Well, okay. Walmart, Target, maybe Meijer. You'd have to look up at the list. I know Walmart was the first. Said they are not going to be open on Thanksgiving Day.
Look at me giving a clap to the fucking stupid Waltons. I can't believe I'm clapping the Waltons, but that's actually...
It only took a pandemic.
It did, but look, what could happen out of this pandemic, Brando, that's actually amazing?
Keep it rolling.
People get to be together.
Yes.
And they get to spend their time together in an actual travesty that's happening to our nation and what we're in the middle of, this epicenter of sadness and destruction. Like, we as people will have an opportunity, even though social distancing still needs to be a thing. Hey, if I want to go see my family, like, I'll have that opportunity. You know,
don't have to worry about being somewhere at 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock for sales to start.
Or if you're an employee of those places, being there at 2 or 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
Because some of those places that open at 4 and 5, they have to have their employees. I know, because when I worked at Office Max, we had to go in at 2 in the morning for a 4:30 open. 2 a.m., bro. And you know what I did in that time in 2 a.m.? Just made sure all the shelves looked good and made sure everything was clean so that when people got there, they could fucking wreck it in 30 seconds. No joke, man. It really happened. So, good on the Waltons for not opening on Thanksgiving Day. Still doesn't really answer the Black Friday question, because what does that look like? Is every place going to say, look, we're going to have limited capacity? Then you're going to have people standing in line to get to the limited capacity. Then that's a whole other drama. Or do you do it in like batches? Everybody puts in their email. You get a batch number. You're in batch 1 of whatever, and they constantly
it could literally change Black Friday as we know it going forward.
It would become Cyber Friday, possibly.
Maybe.
Because Cyber Monday is a thing now. Why can't they just turn all of it to become digital?
Like, okay, so there's only a few things that I really knowingly look forward to getting for Black Friday. Some movie sales are pretty cool, and then of course Rubbermaid Tupperware. I mean, I get new. It gets to the point, Nate, and I can't be the only person that goes to this, where we leave leftovers in the fridge maybe just a little too long, and you don't want to clean it, so you just throw the whole damn thing away, knowing in November you're going to get another thing of like $15 set of Rubbermaids.
It depends. It depends what was left.
Yeah.
How long it was left. If there is a smell left, that's the very, very most important one. And then, of course, listen, so it's all on your stomach, too, I think. Because some people, they can't clean the fridge because as soon as they smell the rotten food, they're like,
right.
Wretch City. But for me, I've got like this, for the most part, my nose doesn't work so good, so I got an iron stomach when it comes to things that smell, unless it's like a really nasty shit or puke. Like those are the extremes. So cleaning out the fridge is usually a pretty easy task for me. But I have before. Okay, so 2 examples of a throwaway. One time, this is like right when me and we were all like first becoming friends with Veronica. We went to her house, and a lot of times because she had just had Ollie and she was essentially, even though she was still married at the time, she was essentially a single mom, take care of this kid by herself. So I would go and like clean the dishes and shit. And I remember, oh my God, this is so gross. I found their crock pot, and it was like pushed back in the corner, and stuff had been put in front of it and then put on top of it. So it was like buried. And dude, the mold was so fucking nasty. I barely cracked it open, and I retched and went, oh, I'm not cleaning this. It's going in the garbage. And I told her, I was like, did you even know this was here? And she goes, that's from like 6 months ago.
Oh, man.
Oh, no. But the ex had hidden it from her essentially, and yeah, the smell was rancid. That also happened with a coffee carafe, and she at the time didn't even drink coffee, but he had left it at the sink for like 2 months, and it had like this film of like green and white mold on top of it. Whoa, I was like, and you are trash.
Okay,
Goodbye.
so to add to the stories of Wretch. Okay, so we recently we had an issue with like one of our pipes in the kitchen. It kind of has like a little draining problem getting everywhere. So we just put like, I remember she cut up a 5-gallon bucket, like cut like the top of it off, that way it would fit, and that way it would just capture the water, and we go dump it out in like in the bathtub, you know,
Sure.
until we can get it completely fixed. Well, also they are like building a brand new hospital right down the road from us. What happens when they start disturbing a lot of stuff in the area, Nate? Do you know this? Because this is
I don't actually.
A lot of everybody around here have had mice really bad.
No bueno.
This year, the number of mouses,
Mycerinos
that have been killed in this house is double digits, going up into the 20s.
Wow.
Yes. And you know what? They're gone. They are gone. We haven't seen any for months now. But we put that bucket underneath our sink. And, you know, we dumped it once. And she goes, hey, you know, that bucket's getting about halfway full. We might want to dump that. You know, coming up. I'm like, all right, I'll get it, you know. So I go get it. And it smells pretty bad. And I start pouring it into the bathtub. And there's a dead mouse in it. It got in there and drowned. Couldn't get out. It drowned and has been in there for however long. It was god awful. I was like, and then of course you don't want that in your bathtub.
No.
So what happened to said mouse? What did Brando have to go do?
Retrieve it out of said bathtub.
Well, retrieve it out of said bucket with no gloves. All I could find was a Walmart bag. And I had to pick up a soggy, very soft, dead mouse that felt like it was going to fall apart. And I picked it up like a dog turd like out in the yard. Whoop! Turned around, wrapped it up, and it smelled so bad. I'm so surprised I didn't like retch more than what I did. She was retching from the living room from the smell.
And you were in the thick of it, just like.
And yet, when my youngest shits up his back, it's so bad. I'm like, blah, blah. And then, of course, he grabs it with his hand. And where does his hand go after that?
Oh, no.
Stop it. Yeah.
Your kid ain't shit.
It's been a crazy year, Nate. Of course,
Man, I'm telling you.
We have some cool games coming out. I'm actually thinking about getting the Mafia remaster.
Yeah, I saw that's
a remake of Mafia 1 is a full remake. Mafia 2 is remastered. That's already out. I'm thinking of getting the Tony Hawk remake of 1 and 2. That looks pretty cool.
That's happening.
And Avengers is a maybe for me. Everything I've seen from it, I'm not sure if it's a day one grab for Brando. I
think if you have an opportunity tonight when we get off the podcast in between your next couple things you're doing, you should definitely get that beta downloading, bro. Because as soon as it's in your hands, you're going to be like, wow, I'm about this. Like,
and you need online to play it, right? You need an online subscription?
I don't know. I'm not. I don't know how to. No, I don't have Plus.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't have Plus. All I had to do was create a Square Enix account, which I'm surprised I didn't have. But they just like so you can link it. And the reason they do that, do you know why they do that? So when you actually buy the game,
transfers,
you keep all your shit. It actually is sensible.
I was gonna say because I know I have Game Pass Ultimate, which gives me live, which that's another thing that they might be doing with doing away with Xbox Live in general and making live free and just charging for the Game Pass.
Hey, that's not a bad idea.
I mean,
letting people work in the community and play games together. I mean, I haven't had online gaming experience in a long time because I think it's been probably close to 6 years now. I haven't had PS Plus or Xbox Live, you know.
Game Pass is worth every penny. PS Now, not as. You can download the PS4 games and play them but the other games are streamed, and depending on your strength of signal, that depends on how good your experience is. Xbox Game Pass, I do believe, is superior now that I've had enough time with it, because you can download every single game, and there's a lot of cool games on there to check out. Every single Xbox game, including the new Halo, day one is on Game Pass. Great.
That's pretty awesome.
That's how I played Forza Horizon 4, not Forza Horizon Zero Dawn.
Episode title, maybe?
I don't know.
That'd be confusing. People would be like, "What the fuck? Why are we talking about this right now?"
I'm thinking about the episode title being November, because I really don't think we should be getting consoles yet, especially if there's nothing to play on them. That's brand new. I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited as anybody else, but we got a lot. Like we have a lot of other stuff going on that I think. I mean, granted, they would be a ray of hope and be a distraction, and so I'm a bit torn. November, I don't know, but thanks for coming on the show, Nate. We're gonna just kind of cut the episode. I think there's not too much to talk about. There's some news coming out this weekend with DC Fandom with some new Batman games. We got a new Batman game, and we got the Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League.
The Batman game looks to be all the teasers, all signs point to Court of Owls as main villains of this game, which is incredible if you're a hardcore Batman fan and know about the Court of Owls in that story.
Rumor is that you'll be able to play as like the Bat family. You won't be just Batman, like play as Robin, Nightwing, Batgirl. So, yeah, yes.
I'm about it.
So, yeah, that stuff will be out this weekend, and we're probably going to talk about that over on JIC on Sunday. A lot of stuff that we'll be talking about over there. So go check that out. As I said, go check that out. Me and Nate are over there, along with our buddy T.Y., Tyler.
It's actually an interesting week that is going to pull off because Tyler's not going to be here this week.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to be able to finish our Cosmic Ghost Rider
review,
but because of DC Fandom happening and there being so much, there's so much talk about. Like, I could start spilling into those headlines right now accidentally. There's so much, and I'm not going to.
No.
But
a lot of cool
I'm
stuff
excited. I'm really excited for what's coming this week. Yeah,
Same.
absolutely, Brando.
Absolutely.
And I want to say thanks again for having me on the show. It's always a blast to be on Game Addicts. I love you guys. It's a blast.
Well, and thank you for coming on to the show, and thank you for being in the ever-rotating second chair now of the Game Addicts podcast.
I'm about it.
And, it's always glad to sit here and talk to you about some cool stuff. I actually have a few announcements that I'm going to have about the show coming forward. I am going to be doing a deep dive on a little game over here. It's one of my favorite games, Mass Effect. There's a rumor of a remaster coming out soon of all three games coming out on PS4 and Xbox One. So that's going to be a thing. Maybe.
And if you're doing it then this late, why are you not just up-resing and getting it ready for a PS5 release? Come on now, man.
Well, there's rumors, and I don't want to. I mean, maybe they're retweaking some of the gameplay.
Remastered effect.
But I have a new concept for a new idea that I want to see how well it works out before I announce it. But I'm hoping, there's some cool stuff coming down the pipeline there. I also want to do a deep dive on Knights of the Old Republic as well. So that'll be coming down the pipeline. Those are episodes I do by myself where I just sit here and talk about nerdy shit about the game. So if you guys are really into Mass Effect and Knights of the Old Republic, be sure to check out those episodes. Until then, this has been the Game Addicts Podcast, and I've been Brando.
I've been Nate.
We will catch you guys down the road in this crazy-ass world that we're living in. And please, keep sane and game on. Have a good one, guys.